couple of years, and the idea that this the area has been recognized for its historical significance and what it really means to those of us that have lived over here. So we're just really grateful, and we feel even before we had our new name, upgraded from the near north end to the historic uptown, and now the Parkside overlay. So,
Parkside Historic District.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you too. And boy, you guys just made this happen. I am just in awe at how hard you worked and how you made it through the process and navigated everything. And thanks a lot. You probably had something to do with it too. Thank you too. But anyway, man, I'm impressed, and I'm just really grateful that you guys are.
Well, so in the Parkside District, there are 28 properties, and 18 of them are designated in some way. Most of them are historic preservation overlay. There are a couple of national registered houses, but in general, over half of them are designated. And so there are a couple of holes, quite a few, but at least we have a majority, which is just great. And so of these, the process, and we needed to go through the process because it's been 18 years since an HPO was done in Colorado Springs.
And was that the old North End?
Yes. No, there was one building.
It was it was known as Grace Place. It's at 601 North Tejon Street, next to Grace Episcopal Church. Yeah. It's got a huge two-story round porch.
That's an overlay. Okay.
That's overlay zone. That was the last overlay zone.
Okay. So the old Onan was
2000.
2000. Okay.
So
and
25 years ago.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. And so we had to drag ourselves through this new process because they did a retool, rezone. So there's this new process that they dragged us through.
New and improved.
It was very, very painful. And so then it now now we have learned how we need to rewrite it. And so we're going to go through the process of helping the city rewrite their HPO process because it's so bad. And
That's
expensive
really
and tedious.
From an end user standpoint, to say this, rewrite the document.
We had to go through it to determine just how painful it was. And had this property been over in the DDA, which is just across the street, we'd have had to go through 5 postings.
Oh my goodness.
This one was 4. So think about how many postings, how many meetings that we had to go through for an overlay. It's not even like it was a big deal. I mean, probably the 30-story building downtown didn't have to go through any of this. It's insane.
Yeah, they
5? No, they're already good.
Well, but they've had so many meetings.
But did they have to post every time?
Probably not.
Right. Okay. So
I know. Every time that sign showed up in front of my house, I was like,
Again?
That's the same thing.
I
Like,
know.
I don't understand.
Over and over and over. It was a process, but we made it. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
Anyway, good job.
Okay.
Amazing.
And so, Tim, would you like to?
Okay, I'll add a couple of comments because I was kind of, the fuel that kept the engine running. It was Cheryl and Monica and Mariah and Diane that was the engine that made this happen. But I provided the fuel. A couple of thoughts on historic preservation. It can be many things to different people. It can be a profession. It can be a calling. It can be a philosophy. It can be a way of life. Preservation, when you get right down to it, is conservation of our built environment. And when we have items of quality and character, you should make an effort to conserve those. It just makes sense. One of the things that I think is often missed when talking about historic preservation is acknowledgement to the people that actually do the preservation, and that's the property owners. And And preservation for them mostly is a matter of doing what makes sense and taking care of their property. It's no more difficult than that. And so we in the preservation movement, we need to recognize that and make it easy for those people to maintain their properties. You know, back when Jim and I, we developed the first preservation ordinance, the phrase that I heard more often than not was, make it easy to do the right thing. So it's like, let's do that again. You know, make it easy to do the right thing instead of making it difficult. So, but here's to Cheryl and Diana, Mariah and Monica and everybody else.
Tim?
And
Tim.
They're here.
And to the supporters, Mike and Louise and
Cheers.
came to say this is important. So
I was worked for the city and was involved in the planning department and planning. And Tim was there. And of course, he and I think we visited about doing something with this area.
we did.
Several times. And
Jim
that was
Baldwin
30
was
years
with you in the
ago.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Why didn't it happen?
Red Baldwin. Things kept happening.
Life?
It was-
Travel.
The time just wasn't right.
Jim had to take like 80 trips or something.
Oh,
Well,
He's our travel
But
inspiration.
anyway,
Jim and Lane.
I just wanted to point out that this has been thought of law for a long time. And Cheryl,
But they didn't get it done. But you
Oh, that's right.
North End Group, it's really good to have you as chairman. Or whatever.
But if anybody else wants a job, please come talk to me.
never hold a candle to you.
just come and sit in my house.
What I think is one of the harder things about doing any sort of preservation is resources, because I think it's great to share those resources,